Sports presents Benning Bites with Damon Benning. Benning Bites with Damon Benning.
What would you ask old DB? What's on your mind? It's Benning Bites. Kind of like it, right? I just get to talk about some thoughts. In the morning dump yesterday, just kind of talking wide receivers and the addition of Billy Kemp and the fourth and what that means to go along with Marcus Washington and Josh Fleeks, a couple of older veterans that have kind of been there and done that. And, you know, the emergence of Alante Brown and the additions of Coleman and Doss and Jalen Lloyd and guys like Bryce Turner. What happens with the holdovers of Bonner and Victor Jones and Sean Hardy, right? They're still kind of somewhere out there. Not to quote lines from a Disney movie, but it is what it is. And I think one of the cool things is if you can add a guy, which is a possibility in terms of Xavier Betts, that wide receiver room kind of changes its dynamic in a hurry. A lot of old, a lot of young. You got 3 seniors. You'd have 2 juniors. I think you have 1 sophomore, maybe, depending on where Sean is. Hardy, the second, if he sticks around, and then your young guys with Bonner, Jones, Coleman, Doss, Lloyd, and Turner. You start to kind of piece it together. And before we kind of eye roll and say we've been here, done that, DB, it's just because you're close to a guy like Betts. I will say this. One thing that I think is different is Coach Rule has been in some tough spots. He's been in Temple. He's gone to Philadelphia. He's coached some guys that I think have some things going on in their lives that maybe a guy like Betts brings to the table, and he's got a point of reference that he can rest in. He's been at Waco post the scandal where he had to put some disciplines in place and very little margin of error to be construed as negatives, right? Just keeping guys in line. So I feel really good about potentially what he could be walking into if that's a decision that they decide, a direction that they decide to go on. And remember, personally, caring about the young man, I want him in the best environment possible where I think he can flourish, not just because he can catch a ball, which is everything that this isn't about, especially if you find folks know me. So we'll get more into that. We'll talk QB play. We'll talk offense. We'll talk what's what. Whose offense is it coming up on Coffee and Cream? Don't you dare miss it. My main man, Andrew Rogers, leading the way. Give him a follow at Andrew Rogers TV. I'm at OldDB. However you get your podcast information, continue to do so and be a part of what we do. Apple, Spotify, whatever. Make sure you're a part of Coffee and Cream, The Morning Dump, and Benning Bites. It's mine. So it's Benning. It's a morsel, a nugget, just a sample, if you will. That's what makes it a bite.